"You're not coming to the wedding," Mom texted. "Lily's family doesn't want you there." That was it. No apology, no explanation. Just gray words on a cold screen. I stared at it, once, twice, again. My coffee went cold beside me. Then I typed, "So you chose status over blood." No emoji, no sarcasm, just truth. I closed the message, opened my laptop, and logged into the wedding planner account. The venue reservation? Under my name, paid with my card. Click, cancelled, non-refundable. They had no idea. I leaned back, staring at the wall. No anger, no tears, just stillness. Like something in me had quietly stood up and walked away. This wasn't new, not really. Just louder this time. They'd always sidelined me in softer ways. The forgotten birthdays blamed on group chat glitches. The whispered jokes at dinner. The way Lily became the daughter they wanted while I was just Jack. Useful, invisible. I found the dress boutique. Negotiated catering. Secured the Airbnb for out-of-town guests. Upgraded the venue when Zach's parents called the lodge too rustic. I even built the damn wedding website. They logged into my Canva account, never logged out. But now I was too much. Too blunt, too black-clad. Too willing to ask where the catering money disappeared to. I opened our shared planning folder, Lily Zach, wedding. Every contract, every photo, every spreadsheet I created, deleted, all 63 files. I renamed the folder, "Good Luck Without Me." No warning, no heads up. Let them find out when the florist no-shows. When the photographer doesn't respond. When the venue emails, "This reservation has been cancelled by the account holder." They thought I'd swallow it, like always. But this wasn't about a wedding. This was rot finally surfacing. This was them handing me scissors, and assuming I'd never cut the cord. They wanted me gone? Wish granted. They just didn't realize I'd take everything I built with me. And I was only getting started. They'll say I was dramatic. Overreacting. That I always took things too personally. Let's rewind. 6 months ago, Lily called me sobbing. Zach lost his job. They were 3 months behind on rent. Eviction papers were coming Monday. I didn't hesitate. Transferred $3,800, no questions asked. That was the third bailout that year. The first, Dad overdrew his retirement, needed $5,000. The second, Mom let Lily's bachelorette Airbnb get trashed. My card was on file. I kept receipts, screenshots, spreadsheets. Not for revenge, just so I'd remember I wasn't crazy. That the drain was real. And still, I was the one treated like the intern. The errand boy. The good sport. One stormy night, while I cleaned Dad's gutters, he laughed. "You should be a house husband. You're not much of a breadwinner anyway." Everyone laughed, even Lily. When I brought it up later, Mom said, "Don't be so sensitive, he's just old school." Old school? He once locked me out for wearing eyeliner in high school. But sure, I'm too sensitive. When Lily got engaged, I found out over FaceTime. Mom and Dad were literally in the background, cheering. They'd helped Zach pick the ring. I built the website. Paid the $600 for the engagement shoot. Covered the venue deposit when Mom's card was acting up. Brick by brick, I helped build their fantasy. While they fed me leftovers and called me selfless. Then came the texts. "Aunt Megan, hey. I heard you're not invited. Uncle Jeff, did you say something to Zach's dad?" And finally, the Facebook post that broke me, a photo of Lily, Zach, and my parents in front of a barn glowing with fairy lights. "So proud of our family, can't wait for the big day with all the right people." I wasn't tagged. Someone asked, "Is Jack coming? He was always so funny." Lily replied, "We're keeping it small, just people we trust." That night, I didn't sleep. I scrolled through receipts, screenshots, emails, years of giving, years of being nothing more than their silent donor. And I realized something. I was the only one in this family who gave without keeping score. And I was the only one who never got anything in return. "Hi family, can everyone pitch in for Lily's bridal shower decorations? Jack, since you're so good with websites, can you make a landing page for RSVPs? Hugs and kisses." I didn't answer. 10 minutes later, Lily messaged me directly. "Can you just do this one thing without being passive-aggressive?" So, I decided to do something else. I logged into the wedding venue account and requested a refund for the $2,500 deposit. technically non-refundable, but I had bought wedding insurance, a tiny checkbox no one had noticed. They refunded 90% after I filed a family conflict claim. Then, I opened Canva and deleted every design I'd ever made for them: RSVPs, table assignments, welcome signs, gone. I created one new file and titled it, "Ask Zach's Dad to Fix This," and I shared it with the entire family. That's when the storm hit. 3 hours later, Mom called, hysterical. "What are you doing? Do you know how this looks?" I replied, "I do, that's why I'm doing it." Dad called next, and he didn't waste time. "You've always been jealous of Lily, that's what this is. You couldn't stand her having a better life than you." I held the phone away from my ear and hung up. That night, my phone lit up. Lily posted a vague Instagram story. "Betrayal always comes from those closest to you." Mom followed up with a photo of Lily crying, captioned, "Nothing hurts more than your own brother trying to ruin your special day." Messages flooded in, friends, cousins, some asked, "Are you okay?" Most didn't care to check, just sent, "Why would you ruin her wedding?" I didn't respond. Then, the package arrived. A yellow envelope, no return address. Inside, a printed screenshot of an internal message thread from Lily's bridesmaid group chat. She was laughing. "We'll get Jack to pay for the cake too. Just guilt him about being the only brother. Works every time." Another message. "Zach doesn't even like him. He said Jack gives him the creeps. LOL." And one more. "He won't be at the wedding. I'll make sure of it. Watch." A sticky note on top, in handwriting I recognized. "You deserve better, K." I didn't know who K was, but I would find out. And when I did, everything changed, because K had more than screenshots. K had audio. The second I heard it, I knew exactly what I was going to do at Lily's rehearsal dinner. The venue was a pretentious vineyard, 30 minutes outside the city. They called it rustic luxury. I called it a marketing scam with overpriced wine and fairy lights stapled to trees. But I showed up, dressed, clean, calm, focused. I didn't come to eat, I came to bury the circus. I walked in as they were toasting, Lily mid-laugh, Zach with his arm around her. Dad looked uncomfortable, Mom avoided my gaze. They didn't expect me, that was clear. I was supposed to be the villain, the bitter brother who ruined everything and couldn't let go. But I wasn't bitter, I was done. I walked straight to the front of the room. A week later, I received a group text from Mom. "Sorry to interrupt," I said, tapping a glass. Conversation stopped, someone chuckled awkwardly, Lily frowned. I pulled a small speaker from my jacket and placed it on the table, then I held up a flash drive. Zach stood up. "What are you doing?" I looked at him, "Giving you exactly what you deserve." I clicked play. The room froze. A girl's voice, Lily's, laughing. "We'll get Jack to pay for the cake too. Just guilt him about being the only brother. Works every time." The silence cracked. Mouths opened. Someone gasped. A fork clattered. I didn't flinch. Another voice. Another message. "Zach doesn't even like him. He said Jack gives him the creeps. LOL." Zach turned pale. Lily lunged for the speaker. I stepped in front of it. "Sit down." It wasn't a request. Then came the final clip. Lily again, low and smug. "He won't be at the wedding. I'll make sure of it. Watch." I hit pause and looked around the room. "Any questions?" Zach opened his mouth, then shut it again. My father stood up, furious. "You think this is appropriate? You think this?" "Sit down," I snapped. And for the first time in my life, he did. I turned to Lily. "I spent over $11,000 on this wedding. I designed your website, negotiated your venue, and paid your florist. I did it because I thought, stupidly, that this was family." Lily was shaking, her mascara ran down her face. "You don't understand." "No," I interrupted, "you don't. You never did. You didn't want a brother, you wanted a wallet." Then I pulled out a folder. Hard copies, screenshots, all the texts from her, Mom, and Dad, the PayPal receipts, the invoices I paid, the ones I saved when they forgot, the group chat where Lily called me the family's free wedding planner. I passed them to Zach. "You still want to marry her?" I asked. He stared at the papers, speechless. Then, from the back, a woman in a gray coat stood up, a badge around her neck and a phone in her hand. "Hi, everyone, sorry to intrude," she said. "I'm Kristen. Jack and I used to work together. I run a digital forensic agency. Jack asked me to verify some files." She looked at Lily. And to confirm they weren't deepfakes. She held up her phone. This audio? 100% authentic. No edits. No splices. Pulled from a WhatsApp backup. Linked to your old number. Don't worry, I have the metadata too. Lily's mouth dropped open. Mom gasped. Is this a joke? Dad barked. Kristen smiled. Not even a little. Then the twist. Zach turned to Lily. You told me Jack said those things to you, that he threatened you, that he was unstable. He held up the printouts. You lied. She reached for his arm. No, Zach, don't touch me. And then the room erupted. My aunt started yelling, someone knocked over a glass, my mother tried to say something but choked. And through it all, I just stood there, quiet, calm, watching it burn. When the chaos peaked, I raised my voice one last time. I'm not coming to the wedding, you already made that decision, but now you can do it without my money, my help, or my silence. I turned to my parents. You cut me out the moment you realized I wouldn't play the puppet anymore, so I'm cutting the strings too. And just as I turned to leave, Zach spoke. I'm calling it off, he said. Loud, clear. Lily screamed, a shrill, sharp noise that cut through the air like glass. You can't do this here. Oh, I said, he just did. Then I walked out. No dramatic music, no slow motion, just the sound of everything they built collapsing behind me. I didn't drive home after the rehearsal dinner, I didn't even get on the highway. Instead, I took a side road north, quiet, somewhere with no signal. A month earlier, I'd signed a lease on a tiny cottage in a forgotten part of the state. Population 600, a single diner, one gas station. No one cared who I was there. That's exactly why I chose it. I paid 6 months up front, no forwarding address, no digital breadcrumbs. Just quiet. The first 3 days, I didn't turn on my phone, didn't check emails, didn't speak to a soul. I sat on the porch with a thermos of black coffee and listened to birds fight over territory they'd never actually own. I didn't feel triumphant. I felt free. No more tension in my neck, no more guilt. No one asking me for money. No one pretending they loved me just long enough to get a transfer. On day 4, I went into town and signed up for something I'd been too ashamed to chase before. An archival preservation course at the local college, history, dusty newspapers, forgotten letters. Finally, I was surrounded by things that kept records honestly. There was no performance here, no manipulation. No you owe us. I volunteered at the county museum, helped catalog photographs from the 1950s, fixed an old microfilm machine. And for once, I didn't care that no one noticed, because it was mine, quietly mine. The messages started showing up about a week later. Old Gmail inbox, linked to my emergency phone. I didn't read the first few, but the subject line said enough. Can we just talk? You went too far, we're still family. Then came the blocked calls, dozens. I left the phone off. They weren't trying to make peace. They were trying to reset the game. It wasn't the evidence that broke them. It was the silence. They couldn't handle not knowing what I'd do next, because for the first time ever, they weren't in control. 3 weeks later, a court notice hit my old apartment. My father had tried to sell off part of the family property. What he didn't know was that I'd quietly locked the deed 2 years ago, after he nearly remortgaged it behind my back. I left it suspended in legal limbo, just in case. He triggered the clause himself. Deal collapsed, buyer walked, fraud investigation opened. Not because I exposed him. Because I didn't stop it. No dramatic blog post, no tell-all thread, no screenshots dropped into the group chat. I just disappeared. No birthday calls, no bailouts, no maybe next time. And that was what truly destroyed them. Because narcissists don't fear consequences. They fear irrelevance. They fear the spotlight going dark. One morning, I walked to the post office to pick up a small package, nothing special. Behind me in line, someone was on the phone. I heard Lily's fiancé walked out before the wedding even happened. Then apparently her brother disappeared, took all his money with him. I didn't turn around. Didn't clarify. Didn't correct. I became unreachable. No address. No number. No access. They thought silence meant weakness. They didn't realize it was a choice. A clean, surgical goodbye, spoken not in words, but in absence. The kind of absence you can't guilt. Can't manipulate. Can't reach with crocodile tears and overdue bills. They can't call when the rent's late. Can't text when the card's declined. Can't pretend we're still family when they need a favor. Because there is no more we. There's just them. And a mailbox that reads, "No message received." You know what's funny? When you finally walk away from people who built their lives on top of you, they don't fall right away. They just freeze. Like someone hit mute on the world and they're scrambling for the volume button. That's what happened. After the rehearsal. After the fallout. After the silence. They still believed, deep down, I'd come back. Because I always did. But this time? I didn't. I changed my number. New carrier. New country code. No forwarding. No auto-reply. Just nothing. I closed the emergency account Dad had linked just in case, rerouted all my bank mail to a digital vault, updated my medical POA, removed every family name. Even changed the emergency contact on my license from Mom to no one. They don't know where I live, where I work, if I'm even in the state or on the planet. And that kills them. A month ago, I went back, just once. Not to the house. Not to the vineyard. I drove past the wedding venue. It was empty. Abandoned. A crooked for sale sign leaned against the gate. A wilted bouquet lay crushed in the gravel. It felt right. I rolled down the window. The breeze smelled like rain and regret. Before I left, I did one last thing. I walked to the mailbox out front. Slipped in a small envelope, no return address. Inside, a printout of the final wedding invoice I paid. On top, a single post-it note. Thanks for nothing. I've stopped checking the old email. But every now and then, I peek, just to watch the flood. Unread subject lines. Can we talk? You went too far. We're still family. I don't open them. One subject line made me laugh. We don't know who you are anymore. Because finally, they're right. I'm not the one who covered their 3 a.m. bills. Not the emergency contact. Not the wedding planner, the guilt brother, the invisible son. I'm just a guy with a quiet new life. One they can't touch. Can't rewrite. Can't twist into something broken. Last week, I got a new mailbox. Metal. Lockable. Secure. The installer asked what name I wanted engraved on the plate. I said, no name, just a message. So now, beneath the keyhole, on a little brass rectangle, it says, "This box does not accept apologies." And the silence I hear every day now? It's beautiful.